Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose and today we're doing a review of the Kershaw Blur, Tanto tip. Okay, so this is, the model number is 1670 and it's the green BDZ Blade Steel. Okay, and it's in a Tanto, which looks pretty sweet. So I'm going to read you some specs here quick, and we'll start talking about the knife and my experience with it. So, the overall length is 7.875 inches. The blade length is 3.375 inches. Blade thickness is 0.12 inches. The handle length is 4.5 inches long. The handle thickness is pretty thin at 0.47 inches thick. And the overall weight of the knife is 3.9 ounces. Okay, so we're going to talk about the knife itself. So now this is the Kershaw Blur. It's a very popular design. It is a Ken Onion design knife. So just looking at it, you can see how it has kind of those curves, those sweeping curves and lines to it. And if his design is much more apparent in the more traditional drop point blade style that they have, the other version of it, because it has a lot of belly and a sweeping recurve on it, and that's classic kind of Ken Onion look to it. That being said, it's a pretty neat knife. I'm not a huge fan of recurve blades, just because they're difficult to sharpen and I don't see them as being as practical. And I like to do my own sharpening, so the easier the better. So once I saw that they had a Tanto plain edge blade, I pulled the trigger. Plus it was on sale at Blade HQ for like $50, so which is like the cheapest for a straight edged plain edge blur. So anyways, so that is that. It is an assisted opening knife. You just flick the thumb stud there and it flies right out. Boom. So talking about the blade, it's a Tanto blade. It is kind of a drop point Tanto. As you can see, it drops down. There's a slight swedge up here on the top. You have that primary cutting edge, and then it tilts up, angles up for that secondary cutting edge. So when you do sharpen a Tanto, you sharpen the one edge, and then you have to sharpen the other. But it's cool, and it has cool lines, and it looks pretty neat. It is a hollow ground blade. If you can see, satin finish, kind of stonewash finish there. It has the two ambidextrous thumb studs. And there's some jimping on the blade. Now the blade steel of the knife is printed right here, and it is the CTS-BDZ1 Blade Steel. So I'm not very familiar with the CTS-BDZ1 Blade Steel at all, and that's part of the reason why I pulled the trigger. I figured it's something new, something different, and something I didn't see a lot of information on. Besides the fact that I really don't own any Tantos, and the fact that it was a plain edge, straight bladed blur. So I was like, and plus it's green, as you can see. So that's why I pulled the trigger. Now, I am pretty familiar with the CTS Bd1 Blade Steel that is used in like the Bird Raven 2, the Bird Crow 2, the Ronin 2. Those are all Spyderco knives. I think Cold Steel uses CTS-BD1 on some of their knives. And it's a really good steel. It has excellent corrosion resistance. And it's kind of up there around just below VG10, Sandvik, around those types of steels. 440C is just below it. So the CTS-BDZ1, I have to assume, is similar to the BD1, but maybe just a step higher or better. I've seen things on like blade form. Somebody saying that it's the same as 440C. But my experience so far, I've carried it for over a week now, and this thing gets just hair-popping sharp. It's pretty awesome, the edge I can get on it. And I did some carving with it, and it seemed pretty well. It holds the edge really well. So that's enough about the blade. Into the handle. The handle design is the same as all the other blurs. It is a very generous width as far as the thickness this way, and it fits the hand very well. The ergos are very nice on it. There's some jimping on the frame as well as on the blade, and it's not the greatest, but it does add some traction that is helpful in the grip. The handle is made out of anodized aluminum, color's green. They have these cool Track Tech inserts, which is like a rubberized skateboard tape that actually adds a lot of grip, makes it really easy to pull out of the pocket. If you flip it over to the other side, you have this kind of parkerized or dark anodized pocket clip with more of the Track Tech insert in the handle, and if you lift up the pocket clip, you can see that it actually rests on a smooth aluminum section, which is nice. So it's gonna be easier to slide it in and out of pocket. The pocket clip is tip up or tip down right side carry only. It is a flow through pillar construction, which it looks pretty cool because we got those nice bright green handle scales and then these kind of sexy black pillar construction standoffs. It's flow through. There's no milling except for the pocket for the stainless steel lock bar insert, and the speed safe lock bar is hidden in the top scale. As you can see, there is jimping on the liner lock, and boom, and it sticks out just enough that you can get a decent purchase with your thumb to disengage the lock. The speed safe assisted opening is awesome. You know, this is like buttery smooth. There's I believe bronze phosphorus washers in there, and it just pops out, and then you're ready to go. For the size, the weight is awesome. The construction of the handle just feels super solid. The knife itself is made and manufactured in the United States, so go USA. And I don't know, I've just really enjoyed liking it. My only ding so far on the knife is the pocket clip and the fact that it's not a deep carry. I like the idea where it's on the smooth part of the handle, but this weird kind of angled design and the fact that it's not deep carry, I mean, it fits in there, and so you got at least, you know, just under an inch of the blade frame. Even on this side, you know, you're going to have, you know, over an inch sticking out of your pocket. I do like the idea that they kept the pocket clip very thin. That way it doesn't create any hot spots or any awkward grips when holding the knife. But that being said, it is difficult if you're wearing thicker material fabric to slide in there, especially with that Track Tech insert right there. So just be aware that it might not slide into the pocket as easy if you have thicker fabric pants or jeans. But that being said, that's kind of my only ding on the knife. I really like the weight. It's really not that heavy for the size. The speed safe works fantastic. The grip and ergos is awesome. I'm glad I finally have a straight edge, plain edge version of the blur with no serrations and no recurve. I just wish it was a drop point, but honestly, a Tanto isn't that bad of a knife. So I'm getting used to it, and honestly, on this model, I really love it. I love the color. But let's compare it to some other knives. We have the Benchmade North Fork. I'll just measure the top of the handle to this white line here. We have our Bird Raven 2. We have Kershaw Cryo G10, just because everybody has a Cryo. And we have the new Benchmade Foray. We can kind of compare the handle sizes. And what the heck, this one's also made in CTS-BD1, is the Spyderco Manix lightweight translucent blue, which they're becoming harder to find, but still a really lightweight knife. As you can see, if we follow these lines, the shortest blades on this table are going to be the Cryo and the North Fork. So we'll kind of just take those two out for a moment. And so this is definitely a medium to large size folder. Sorry about my cat there. As you can see, the blades lengths are pretty much all the same. I would say just from looking at it though that the Kershaw Blur is the longer blade out of the four knives. Handle wise, it looks like the Manix 2 has the longest handle, and the Bird Raven 2 has a longer handle, and then the Benchmade North or Foray has the shortest handle. So that's kind of nice to see that it has that medium-sized handle length there. Now looking at the blade thickness of the knife, you can see on the Manix 2 they are actually about the same width. If you look at it compared to the Foray is just a little bit thicker, and the Bird Raven 2 is definitely thicker than the Benchmade Blur. It's about the same thickness as the Kershaw Cryo 2, which is about the same thickness as the Benchmade North Fork. Actually, that's the Cryo. I don't know why I said it. The Cryo G10. So, that being said, we had our knife comparisons, which is cool. But now our last test, which is going to be more of a practical use test. I don't do many knife cut tests just because it takes more time, and I try to do these quick. But it is the ugly brown glove test. Okay, so this test is designed just to show you if you're a person who works with gloves or you're into yard work and if you have these cloth yard gloves, how they might work. So usually what I do is test the grip when it's closed, and right away this Track Tech rubberized insert is really grippy. I have really positive grip with the knife in that sense. Any of the aluminum parts that my thumb touches is actually pretty slick, so I'm glad they have those inserts in there, and actually I have a positive grip. Now the opening and deployment of the blade, boom, it works fine there. And then the grip here, I'm trying to pull the blade out, those Track Tech inserts work really well. Reverse grip, it's actually very helpful. So boom, ergos is fine, grip's fine. Accessing that liner lock, boom, closed. Boom. So I would say, the jimping's not the greatest, so I don't have the best traction right there with my thumb. But overall, this totally passes the ugly brown glove test. So pretty awesome. So now, that being said, that is the Kershaw Blur Tanto blade plain edge in the CTS-BDZ1 Blade Steel. I give this knife, honestly, this thing's really grown on me. I like it a lot. I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. Excellent job, Kershaw. Excellent job, Ken Onion. And definitely pick this up. It's one of the cheaper versions you can find right now. So search it on Google, YouTube, whatever. Check out my other videos for links to some of these other knives that I compared the knife to, and look forward to other knife reviews and gear reviews here on my channel. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you.